interesting. So at the beginning of the match, for basically both of the races, or maybe 3 races, you're going to see a different Robot Master order. So they're not going to sync up until about the 6th Robot Master, or 6th, 7th, one or the other.
7th.
7th, there we go.
After 6.
So it'll be a little bit difficult to tell who is ahead, but we'll do our best to kind of keep you guys open for, who's in front.
Yeah, you still have a general feel for where they stand, and I think the routes, even if done optimally, are only like 6 or 7 seconds apart.
Yeah, it's definitely not like a huge difference. I would say, without a doubt, comfortability is much more important than picking the fastest route, because there are quite a few differences between the routes. Namely, with Darko's top first route, which is the faster route, it is quite brutal, especially at the beginning of the route. In particular, the Shadow Man stage, which is the second stage, features some quite tight jumping. Really difficult section.
Darko's mashing on those cats, though. I just want to throw that out there.
Darko is the king of mashing. Like, I've never seen somebody mash as hard or as fast as he can, so. His route definitely benefits more from mashing, so it should be no surprise that he opts for this route.
Darko is coming up to this top section here. I mean, you're talking about this Shadow Man section, which is dangerous for those slide jumps under the parachute enemies. Tight jumps, drops can kill you. Darko just got through the top jumps. He did actually wait there instead of taking the more difficult, risky jump.
Yes. So you're going to see Fatso here fighting Magnet Man. The key thing here is he's going to be doing a lot of damage boosts. Whenever you see Magnet kind of like do his little shield there where he sucks you in, he's actually invulnerable during that period. However, if you damage boost off of him at the right time, he actually just cancels it and continues to do what he's doing. So health management while trying to kill Magnet Man as fast as possible was pretty key in that fight. So good job by Fatso, doing it pretty fast.
Pretty fast. They're both out of their first robots about the same time, really. So, next thing we're looking for, can Colonel Fatso not get stung by the bees? And how much trouble does Darko have in the dark room? I don't think he'll have any trouble in there. We're really waiting until the end of the stage.
Yeah. I mean, I will say though, Shadow Man is quite a deceptively hard stage, in that there is a lot of not only really risky jumps at the end with this route, but also just kind of like some finite movements towards the middle of the stage. Like after this Proto Man segment, you're going to see kind of a lot of like tight movement and bullet shots at the same time. So
yeah, this room, I'm calling it the dark room, really, but just because you can't see where you're really going in it, you have to kind of memorize the whole thing, know where the enemies are spawning. Really easy to bump into a few walls, lose some time that way, get hit. Just have bad things happen.
Yeah. Just kind of going back to Fatso, one of the benefits doing the Magnet first is you do get, of course, the Magnet weapon early. And that's a very powerful weapon. It's the only reason why you do Magnet first is because it allows you to just get through sections quite fast. And yeah, kind of looking at Darko's screen right now, he's going through the Parasuit section, one of the hardest sections to do in this game, in this route.
He made it under a couple of extra parachutes, and I was clenching a little bit there, but he did eventually hold up a little bit, so...
Yeah. It's extremely hard. That section, you have to basically slide to the end of the platform, and then you kind of have a few different options based on how the parachutes fall. So if they like falls like, you know, at a like medium position relative to the screen, you have to do it differently versus whether it falls low. It has like 3 or 4 different positions on where it falls, and you have to react differently to each position. So it's a very challenging section to do extremely fast and not die. So
yeah, good on Darko for getting through there. Colonel Fatso hanging on with the 2 extra points of health. He had to have known exactly where he was, because you do know you're going to go into that hard man fight and take the damage boost.
Yeah.
But enough about that weapon get screen. Darko's in Gemini screen 1 right now. This is kind of a gauntlet of sorts. It's one of the stoppers when you're learning the game. And Darko's making it look easy right now.
Absolutely. Well done.
Got 1 hit towards the end. Not going to worry about that in a race.
So you can see right there on Darko's screen, he did slide through a cutscene trigger to despawn Proto Man coming down and blowing up that little section over there. And not only does that save time because you don't have to watch the cutscene, but it actually despawns the music, which is quite important because basically anything in this game lags the screen, and when you lag the screen, you go slower. Everybody wants to go faster, so anything you can do to decrease lag in this game is very important, so even things like despawning music will come into play.
Yeah. So this one-tile block section is the next one for Darko, as Colonel Fatso's making short work of Top Man. But Darko now, the trick with Mega Man 3, I believe it's 8 frames
Yes.
before you can jump off a tile.
Unfortunately.
And if you slide too late, that's what tends to happen.
Yeah,
He's gonna go for it again, though, and Colonel Fatso, okay, he's scaring me on these top jumps now, too. He did go for the last jump.
Excellent. A little bit of a risky jump that Fatso had to do there. If you die there, it's quite a bit of time lost, though.
Whereas Darko, at least, you don't want any deaths, obviously, but where he did die in the one-tile block section was actually really early in it.
Actually, Darko did quite a risky backup strat there because the thing that makes that section really hard once the music is there is it's much more laggier, so you're not used to sliding as fast as you are when you do it without the lag, and so it makes doing that room fast extremely hard. Most people go for the Rush Marine backup after they die, but Darko is not afraid.
And the way he took that back damage boost off of one of the dragonflies, ugh.
Oh yeah. Scary, but hey, he's alive.
You have to really know how the game's mechanics work there.
Yep.
Especially since there's a difference in how Mega Man gets knocked back between Mega Man 1 and 2 and then the rest of the sliding Megas.
Yes.
But good on Darko. So they're getting into each other's stages now. Oh no, Darko still is Needle Man. Colonel Fatso's in Shadow Man though, so I'm half right.
Yeah. So you're kind of going to see the power of Magnet on Fatso's screen. That entire Power Suit section that Darko had to do, which is really risky. Well, when you have the Magnet, all you do is fire Magnet, and it's over.
Well, it's not entirely over. You still have to worry about those drops.
That's fair, that's fair.
Darko in the stage known as Friedel. Everybody's holding their breath for Colonel Fatso here.
He did have full health, which is nice. Didn't have to worry about the energy drop, just the weapon energy drop.
True.
So yeah, Needleman, as Cab affectionately said, Friedel, not really too much going on. Pretty simple stage, and then you have a simple boss with a scripted pattern. So, well, I shouldn't say scripted pattern, it has one of a few different scripted patterns, so you can react to it accordingly.
Just make sure you don't miss with those giant lasers.
Definitely don't want to do that.
That was a really good pattern.
Yeah.
Race friendly.
I don't know, is any pattern race friendly?
It felt like he had very few iframes there, so I'm gonna at least call it that.
That's fair.
I mean, he's still Needle Man. He's a prickly fellow.
He certainly is.
If Colonel Fatso can match what Darko's done here in Gemini Man stage.
Kind of the benefit of using Magnet for the second half of the screen makes this section a little bit easier. Still difficult though.
He gets that big drop and slow him down a little bit, but otherwise it's really good. And is he going to get the zip that Darko couldn't get? Since Darko took a hit earlier, he would have had to stand around and wait for the iframes to run out for about as much time as you actually saved doing the zip in the first place, so... You do get to see that.
Alright, let's see if Fatso can do what Darko could not. Get through this single block section without dying. This is extremely hard because, like Cap was saying, you have 8 frames before you can jump out of a slide, and each different single block has like different little periods of lag, so you kind of have to approach each one individually. So it can be quite challenging.
Just like he did it in practice.
Easy every time.
Darko, meanwhile, just went right through that Yoku block section on Rush Jet. That's one of the advantages to the top first route.
Yep. Another advantage in this stage is you actually have his weakness, which makes him a lot easier to kill. It just takes 4 hits.
Colonel Fatso needs to dodge Gemini Man. Good job. Magnet, I think, actually has 2 full weaknesses, which is kind of weird, but Shadow Blades you can shoot straight up for when that happens. A little better than Sparks.
Yep. Yeah, so if you did have Spark, which the old Gemini first route would use Spark against Magnet, you'd actually have to wait if he jumps up and fires his magnets at you.
So one more robot before the routes come together, or at least they've taken out the same 6.
Yes. And Needleman is the slightly shorter stage than Hard, so clearly there is a lead for Fatso, of course, with the depth Darko had. Naturally, he's going to be a little bit behind, but still not too far ahead, so anything can happen, especially in the Doc Robot stages.
I mean, Colonel Fatso has this lead. Darko, though, is right there. I'm not sure how many commentary curses I want to pull out on the master of the commentary curse in Colonel Fatso. So I'm just going to stay quiet for now, but I'm thinking of something.
Alright. Not really too many...
I've seen these stages before.
Yeah, there's not really too many differences between the routes. You can see Fatso is able to use Magnet in the Needle section. It's really not much of a time saver, it just makes things a little bit easier.
It's kind of funny because Darko used a Gemini laser there and actually got hit by a lot of the Hammer Joes to damage boost through. Colonel Fatso killed them all, but got a large drop for his trouble. So probably didn't save any time over Darko there.
A bit of a concern for Darko, he's quite low on health. Shouldn't have any troubles getting through the... Oh, he got a big drop, that's nice. But, yeah.
By the time you started talking, I guess he already got the drop. I just completely missed that.
Yeah.
Like, what's he talking about? Colonel Fatso is out of his 6th robot first.
Yeah, it's very fortuitous to get that big drop, otherwise you would have had to get that backup drop on the right in order to do a Heartman fast.
Good job, Darko.
Excellent. So we are synced up now. It's like about 30 seconds separating the 2 right now, so it's definitely a nice lead, but no lead is safe in this game.
It's a pretty nice lead, but there's plenty of places for Colonel Fatso to lose it. Hopefully he won't.
Yeah, there are some absolutely brutal places that you can die in the Doc Robot stages. You can easily lose a minute on a death, so...
So this is Snake Man stage. It is Rush Jet the stage. So you use Rush Jet pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah.
You obviously already saw Colonel Fatso do it, jump over the giant snake mini-bosses. They're both actually about to do that right now. Kind of weird that this is the one mini-boss in the game that you can just go right past them, no worries. And Colonel Fatso going to demonstrate the other aspect of Rush Jet that I'm sure a lot of you already know out there. You jump off the top of the screen, Mega Man's no longer on the screen, so that's one less thing for the NES to handle, so you once again get less lag. Also, when you're jumping off Rush, it doesn't use weapon energy as long as you're not actually standing on him. So that's what actually makes it possible to use Rush for the entire stage.
Yep, so...
That's so at the door at 14:14.
Pretty straightforward stage. Too much going on. Same thing with the boss. He has a couple of different patterns that you have to kind of adjust to. But all these top players that you see here, they know exactly what to do depending on what he does.
It was a pretty good fight.
Absolutely.
Even ended in the middle of the room.
So yeah, kind of an interesting thing. As soon as you kill a boss, you lose control of Mega Man. However, Mega Man always has to walk to the middle in order to get the weapon get little animation. So, you know, you want to try to do as much as you can to kill a boss while Mega Man is standing in the middle.
Good pattern from Darko, good fight. I think that was a good pattern. Fasta in chat's gonna yell at me if I'd say anything wrong about which pattern is the best pattern. But I'm gonna stand by what I said.
Listen, I'll back you up.
I missed Darko's beam out, but he was 36 seconds later than Fatso to the first door in Snake Man stage.
Okay. Yeah, Fatso's had a really good 8 robots. Really, can't even think of many mistakes he's made, like even the small ones. It's been a really smooth 8 robots for him so far.
Well, now you're just asking for him to do something wrong on the last screen.
Hey man, I don't curse anyone, okay? I just call it like I see it. If they mess up, that's their own fault.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you do use magnets through the stage just so you have less shots on the screen. Magnets also just a really powerful weapon. Destroying even that garbage block reduces lag. This last screen, I still think of as like a screen that demonstrates sometimes the speed strat is just so much easier to execute than trying to do the stage in any way casually.
Absolutely.
That stage is a disaster if you try and do it with anything except Rush Jet. And the speed strat makes it look easy.
Alright, 16:27 kill for Fatso. Very respectable time. So now we're going to be coming up to the Duck Robots, which I feel are the hardest stages in this run. They're basically retooled versions of the stages you just saw, featuring the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters. And by retooled, I mean they basically made them harder than what they were.
$17.03 kills. Still 36 seconds. Through the entirety of Sparkman stage. Colonel Fatso is going straight into Doc Gemini. Just like normal Gemini, it's one of the harder stages. Even the first room is trickier in the game.
Yeah. I believe most players do opt to do Doc Gemini first. Not only does the world record route do it, there's of course no difference. It doesn't matter which order you do it, it's really a matter of how you feel comfortable doing that order. But most players opt to do Doc Gemini first because it is quite a difficult stage. There's a lot going on and very easy to make a mistake here, small or large.
Colonel Fatso is going to go top route. Doesn't get a kill there though.
Kind of a new,
quick.
Yeah, kind of a new discovery, or a recent discovery, I should say. There's a lot of lag in that screen if you let all those little droppers stay, so kind of an advantage of taking that top route.
Flashman fight. One of the minor version differences that actually pays off here. If you're playing on the English version of this game, Flashman freezes the screen for a lot longer than he does on the Japanese cart. Either way, no trouble in that fight for Colonel Fatso. He is going to go for the spike slide here.
A little bit of a scary strat, however, not intentional, that's okay. So they do know exactly how long they are invulnerable, even though on your screen it looks like Mega Man can die to the slides. He's actually, or the spikes, he actually still is invulnerable. So all the good players, they know exactly how long they have before they have to jump up. Still a scary strat, but not the most difficult strat in the world.
Yeah, you can execute that strat, and then just like everything else, it comes down to doing it optimally.
Yep. It's a huge lag reduction strat, though. Like, if you were to do the Rush Jet strat, which is the more safer strat, there would be a ton of lag on the screen.
Of course, Bubble Man's at the end of the stage. Especially with these two runners having tons of health left, Bubble Man goes down really fast.
Yep.
Alright, Colonel Fatso should be going for the music despawn. That looked like a good setup.
You got it.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a kind of a nifty setup. If you basically die on the pixel, you're supposed to transition to the next screen. The game plays the death animation like you died, but you're not actually dead. So basically what it does is it despawns the music, which again, lag reduction. So pretty neat little trick there.
And that does make this dark screen over the collapsing platforms that much easier. I think Darko went for the second setup there. It takes probably frames longer to execute that one.
Yeah. Still, whatever method you can do that's consistent, go for it. Bit of a scary boss here in Woodman. He does a ton of damage, but there is a nice little setup here. You want to ideally get 5 hits in, like Fatso was able to do before he throws his shield again. Take a lot of damage, but fortunately there's a big drop after this. So.
Darko's now also over the platforms, about to get to the wood fight. Fatso dealing with Parachute 2. He got the small drop he needed. I feel like he wasted a magnet somewhere in there.
Might have. So you do actually, with this magnet strat, you do need 2 small drops, or of course 1 big drop, in order to kill every single enemy there. If you don't, you just end up taking a damage boost and moving on. But still a pretty difficult section to do.
Colonel Fatso does get the double hit on Heatman.
Oof.
Survives that fight.
Close one, but was able to get through, no problem. Darko was able to get the drops, so he was able to get through that section without needing to take a damage boost.
Colonel Fatso starting the longest stage in the game in Doc Needle. Has a pretty tame opening, at least, so you can watch this Heatman fight from Darko.
It's a very long stage, and if you do die in this stage, pretty much anywhere, it's extremely time costing. I would say it has some of the most punishing deaths in the entire game.
I think if you get killed by the second Met in this stage, that is probably the biggest time loss you can get.
Yeah.
The only thing that would be longer is if you got killed like during the second cycle of the Yellow Devil.
Yeah, probably.
Darko, like you mentioned earlier, I guess, taking advantage of his mashing skill to not even take out Gemini Laser on the first screen.
Yeah, very interesting strat. Hey, man, if you could save time in the menu, go for it. Definitely not a strat for mere mortals like myself.
Mm-hmm. Colonel Fatso can beat Airman, and now he's in this long rush jet section.
Kind of seeing the advantage of jumping off the screen. You see Fatso kind of jumping up at also specific times. So he's trying to jump at specific times to despawn these little dragonflies. And of course, if you can despawn something on screen, it's going to mean less lag.
Yeah, since when you are off the top of the screen, something internally in the NES, whatever they're doing for detection, has basically wrapped Mega Man to the bottom of the screen. And that's what gets those dragonflies to dive down low to try and get them. Colonel Fatso able to land some snakes on that net when it got out of the ground.
It's very tight timing when using snakes to kill the little flying Met giant thing, whatever you call it.
I'm guessing he's going for like a less lag strat, because I think you can shoot 3 snakes immediately on the screen and they will all connect.
You can.
You only need 4 to kill.
But yeah, it's less lag in order to not have them go through the whole screen.
Yeah.
Cut to Crash, weak to Hard Knuckle. Kind of interesting strat. You want to damage boost against them, like you're seeing Fatso doing, in order to get the Hard Knuckle out. Because, as you can see, the Hard Knuckle takes a very long time to travel. So you want to kind of get as close as you can in order to hit him with the Hard Knuckle faster.
Crashman, of course, also jumps every time you shoot, so if you time it right, you just basically get over him when you plant that Hard Knuckle in the air. And he'll just jump right into it.
So Duck Spark, probably I feel like it's the easiest out of the 4 Dark Robot stages. Not that it's without its share of difficulty, but definitely one of the shorter ones as well.
The difficulty in Doc Spark really only comes from Doc Quick at the end.
Yeah.
It's a very easy point to take a death, so when you're, not in the semifinals of a tournament because you're that good at the game, there's a worry that, do you have an extra life? Are you going to have the health? Do you have a spare E-Tank lying around? These guys should be okay. Darko's going with Shadow Blades here.
It's interesting. I don't think I've actually seen that before.
I'm guessing it's since the blade will lag the game slightly less than the laser?
Yes.
Is Colonel Fatso going to go for the music despawn?
That's a no. So there is a way to despawn the music in Doc Spark, however, it is much more riskier. There's no guaranteed setup, because there's kind of a few different pixels. Depending on what pixel you get, it can either work or it could kill you, so a lot more riskier to go for.
Plus the respawn, you're not actually at the stage's checkpoint yet. So you would be sent back to the start.
So here's Doc Quick. The key thing with Doc Quick is to not get hit by it. Don't touch him, because he does like 8 damage or something like that. The key is to kind of get hit by his quick blades, which only do like 2 damage, or boomerangs, excuse me. So you kind of have to juggle how he jumps, because he can either jump like really high or really low. So you kind of juggle that while intentionally taking damage from his quick boomerangs, which Fatso did a fantastic job.
Darko not that far behind, but still making his way through the end of the stage. And Darkman.
Yes.
Would you like to give us a quick word from IBN?
Yes, shout-outs to IBN Computing. They are the #1 providers and sponsor of this Mega Man 3 tournament for all your Mega Man 3 computing needs.
So Darko just won Breakman split behind Colonel Fatso now, who's moving into the Dr. Wily stages.
It's like it's honestly about 37 seconds, just like how it was at the start. Really, no...
Has not moved since the Snake Man gate.
Not at all. And the rough part for Darko now is there's definitely a lot less opportunity to gain time versus the Doc Robot stages. So at this point, it's pretty much Fatso's race to lose.
Well, you still have, I think it's about 17 to 20 seconds for the 1 cycle Yellow Devil. Probably the biggest swing left.
Yes, I mean, there's definitely opportunity to lose time. However, it's one of those things where it's like most of these things at this point are all in the skill of the runner. Can they pull it off or can't they? So.
Oh, definitely. There's some RNG from the turtles in this stage. In fact, I think it's been said the RNG from Kamegoro is actually the biggest source of RNG in the game. So that's certainly not 36 seconds. I think it might be like, it's 10 at the most. I don't even think it's that much.
So you can kind of see this little turtle maker over here. He can move either left or right. So you see right there, right is much faster than left. And he's being very cooperative with Fatso right now. Okay. 3 right, 2 left, nothing wrong with that. And even within the left or the right movements, he actually has a faster and a slower of each one. So you can have the slower left, the faster left, or the slower right, and the faster right. So Fatso was able to get a couple of the faster rights, which is pretty good. Let's see what Darko can get. Starts off to the right, it's pretty nice.
Missing a couple of shots with the Shadow Blade here.
It's getting a few rights, but unfortunately he's getting the slower ones. He's still got 4 rights, which is very nice. You can kill it.
Yeah. Colonel Fatso is making his way through the Yellow Devil stage now, the stage without a checkpoint. Doesn't have any problems with bees or spikes, so that's a good thing.
Alright. Pretty important trick right here. There is a way to kill Yellow Devil in 1 cycle rather than waiting for him to kind of reform himself. does involve using Shadow Blade, which is actually not his weakness. However, you can spam it a lot faster than his weakness. So you have to do about 10 hits, I believe. Let's see if we can do that.
Beautiful. Easy every time.
For somebody like Darko, I would be surprised if he does not get it.
Now that's a jinx.
What can I say?
Colonel Fatso having no trouble with the KLM room.
And the fast way of doing that too. Very impressive.
Going between the second and third shots. That's gutsy, especially with the lead that he has.
Look at that. Darko almost killing him in one jump rather than two.
Has there ever been a one-jump kill of the Yellow Devil?
I believe it is possible. I'm pretty sure it's possible. However, we're talking like, you know, this is in the realm of like 2-jump Guts Tank in Mega Man 2. It's quite impressive to see something like that.
Yeah. Darko taking that same quick jump through that the KLM room. Colonel Fatso, if you've never seen it before, the kill there on the Mega Man clone, it works out if you have a rush bullet on the screen. That's the only time you can actually pause with a weapon on the screen. And whenever you switch weapons out of that, it takes on the property of whatever weapon you switch to. So Colonel Fatso just shot the Mega Man clone with topspin, and that one-shots it. Or at least it, like, practically one-shots it.
I mean, finally Top Man becomes ultra powerful because it has range.
Yeah.
Alright, so Refight's definitely a source of potential time gain. I wouldn't quite say 36 seconds, but there's definitely a potential for a little bit of a swing here.
Darko could certainly pick up a little bit of time if something goes wrong for the Colonel. Really, if you're looking for a mistake that is big enough to bring Darko back into it, you're not even looking for topspin to disappear right there like it almost did, although that would have certainly helped. I'm looking to the Wily machine in the next stage as a place where something can go horribly wrong. Because even if something does start to go wrong with the refights, neither player has used an E-Tank yet. They have them in reserve. Certainly at this point in the tournament, they can't be too proud to go and reach for them.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if Fatso is aware of where his opponent is, but he obviously knows he's on a good run right now, so I would imagine.
I've chat a few times too, so he must know.
Yeah. Even if he didn't know, I would expect him to use an E-Tank to play it safe, because he knows he's on a good run pace, and he probably has a few seconds to spare.
I think he is on a pretty reasonable pace, though.
Yes.
He hasn't made any real mistakes.
This is really good, actually.
Yeah,
this is
I'm pulling
without question
to check on his PB.
This is without question 34 pace, and this is definitely better than 34 5x.
34-34 is the time to beat for Colonel Fatso to PB.
This is really close to our PB. This is really close.
Darko taking care of Needleman. We never talked about Gemini on Gemini weapons, but we'll get there next race. This is a best 2 out of 3.
So the key thing here is we look at the time in which he kills Wily Machine here, so let's see if we can get the quick kill.
Nailed it.
Able to get it. Wow.
He has 50
Fantastic.
seconds from right when I said 50.
Yes.
PB.
So my split is I'm looking at as soon as he teleports up. Yes, he's on PB pace. This is going to be a PB.
Can he beat Wily in 20 seconds from now? I'm wondering if he's going to add insult to injury here by bopping Darko.
Oh, that would be something.
I don't think he has enough time for that, because he needs 5 seconds.
Going for the snake! Wow!
Missed it. Wow!
Unbelievable! Oh, wow. 34:25. Fantastic time. That is a PB by 9 seconds for Fatso. Wow.
He's 4 seconds away from cutting the Darko on the leaderboard with that run.
That's insane.
That is a strong opening in this best of 3 third place match.
It's pretty good. Darko coming up to the finish right here. Still a fantastic run by Darko. This will be a low 35.
Yeah, just the one mistake, really.
Yeah. Without that death, he's also on mid 34 pace.
GG.
Well done. 35-11. RaceBot has 34-27 for Fatso and 35-12. So
I'm looking at the leaderboard some more here. Visan's old record, I think, that was the 34-27 that he had. That Colonel Fatso just cut that time.
It's pretty good. That's a pretty.
That's really good.
Just a couple seconds behind Ohone, which is the third place on the leaderboards.
So give them a second to take a breather. I'm sure Colonel Fatso just wants to go right back at it.
Oh yeah.
Don't let a PB go to your head like that. Darko is already on the title screen though, so he wants it more. Darko now has to know that, like, really it was that one thing that did it. What is this margin of victory? I'm trying to look back at it. It's about 46 seconds. 45, I guess.
Yeah, about 47. 47. So
he lost
with
a little bit of time later, but not much.
Yeah, even with the death, even without the death, he still would have lost because Fatso was just on a fantastic run. I mean, not really much you can do about that when your opponent PBs by 9 seconds. Already has a really good time.
Yeah, you just have to have a short memory, jump right back into it. Except that you did have a really good run and just make it better.
I mean, if anything, I think this second game would probably favor Darko because, you come off that PB high, you're feeling really good, and I feel like that's like when you have the potential to just, your next run is just, you fall flat.
Yeah, there's a huge risk here of he just PB'd, and you've almost got to be thinking that's the best run he's going to have today.
Right.
So now he has to somehow do better.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, I know having played in the tournament, I PB'd during a tournament match, and the next one I was just, like, super deflated. I had nothing left,
Yeah.
But still, it is a best of 3, so even if Fatso were to lose, we would go to a game 3, and winner takes it all from there, so... It is nice that, you did PB and win that first game, so you kind of have a little bit of wiggle room should you do have that kind of a deflating game 2. So it's nice to have that advantage.
Man.
That's insane.
That is just crazy.
I mean, looking back at it, yeah, I really didn't see much go wrong with Fatso. It was just here, tiny mistake here or there, but overall, it was just impressive.
Really, for both runners, that's all you have. You have Darko's death, and then it's, oh, he took a hit here. Oh, Colonel Fatso missed a jump in the dark room. Oh, someone fell off a platform in Shadow Man's stage, but landed on another one. There's nothing that went wrong. And I think they're both ready to go.
Should be starting fairly shortly.
So if you like that race, you're about to see a second one.
Oh yes.
We'll be looking to see what Darko does, but we already know he didn't go to Rush yet even after the death, or Rush Marine I should say.
Yeah, I think Darko's kind of proven throughout this first match that he's not afraid to go for it if he needs to. So I feel like he's definitely going to pull out all the stops. Definitely not going to go out without a fight in this game.
Yeah.
underway. Pretty synced up. So again, we're gonna go through these different routes. You won't exactly know who's ahead unless somebody dies. Kind of try to pick up on some little things to see who is ahead. So we won't see until the seventh Robot Master.
Yep. That first screen of top actually is really laggy. Darko didn't have a lot of trouble in there. Did get hit, but Colonel Fatso will do the same probably.
Yeah, first screen of top, man, definitely very reset heavy for a lot of the top runners. Ideally, they would not get hit. Like, you know, when you're doing RTA, you pretty much just reset if you get hit on that screen.
Colonel Fatso actually just got hit on a similar screen in Magnet. Getting hit on that screen with like the giant magnets in the wall just really lags the game.
So in a race setting, getting hit is definitely a lot worse for Fatso than it is for Darko in terms of their first robot, because like I mentioned in the first game, your health is pretty important when fighting Magnet Man with the Buster versus top. You don't need too much health.
Yeah, at this point in the stage, you're not looking at your health at all. Darko, again, not going to risk the race on that jump.
It's not really a huge time saver, that one. Saves a tiny bit of time, but the death is like...
1 second or lose 40?
Yeah. The death is very rough. So again, you can kind of see on Fatso's screen, trying to do the damage boost to make sure he can hit Magnet.
Oh!
Oh no, Fatso, why? His
right button failed him.
Oh... I mean, he knew at that point he couldn't do any more damage.
He had 2 health. He had to have known. I think the worst thing here for Fatso is that he's going to be going through this entire race now, just knowing that he's going to play another race because he died to Magnet Man.
Well, I mean, it's certainly easy to think that. However, anything can happen. You know, this is literally the first Robot Master. There's so much going on. Like right here, Darko could easily die in the Power 2 section, and that's it. That's pretty much equal death in terms of time lost.
Oh, definitely. I don't want Colonel Fatso to get burned out by that even into the third race. I don't want that festering for him.
Yeah. I definitely know that, like, as you know, when I'm personally racing, to have like a death like that, where it's just like a place where you don't feel like you really should die, it's definitely very demoralizing, so we'll see if he can kind of recover from that.
Yeah. And hopefully he does exactly what you said, and he powers through the rest of this race, and doesn't give Darko any more opportunities.
Alright, pretty important section for Darko coming up. Let's see if he can get this Parasu room down right and safe.
I like that the theme in chat is now that I have absolutely no hope in him.
Oh, I see there, playing it safe.
Yep. He did the same thing in the last race. He kind of stopped on one of those middle platforms just to make sure he made it. Like you were saying, a death there puts Fatso right back in it because it's a time-costly death. You don't want to, again, just like in Top Man stage, throw the entire race going for a 1 second time save.
Yep. Of course, the whole reason why the top first route is faster, a large part of it has to do with getting through that Parasu section fast. So it kind of negates that time advantage you gain from doing it over the Magnet route if you can't do that section fast, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah, from there it comes down to what you were saying early on too. Go with the route you're more comfortable with. No sense in completely changing your route just because one's a better race route.
Mm-hmm. So Fatso can get Hard Man down with the damage boost.
No trouble.
So you can kind of see there that he takes 2 hits there rather than 1. So if you do just take 1 hit from him, it doesn't actually cancel you out of the freeze animation that you get when Hard Man like slams his head on the ground. So you have to make sure you have enough health to survive 2 hits there.
Darko again. I guess he just doesn't go for a zip setup because that looked like it was the same thing he did in the previous race.
It's surprising. I mean, it is like what 1 second,
like a
1.5
second
second.
zip,
Yeah,
I guess.
pretty big deal in Mega Man 3 with how low the time is.
Well, that is the zip, so.
Yeah, we kind of should mention that Mega Man 3, as you can see, is really not a game that's very zip heavy, whereas you think of Mega Man 1 and 2, where they're so focused on zips and time-saving tricks in that matter. Mega Man 3 is more about kind of the optimization of your movement and what you can do to not only get through stages fast, but reduce lag, so that way you can get by even faster.
Dark goes through the room.
Excellent.
Does have to keep a little bit of an eye on his health, but I don't think he's even going to get hit in this fight.
Yeah, he has room to get hit by a Gemini Man himself once. If you get hit by Gemini Man, he does 6 health, I believe. His bullets do 2. But fortunately, didn't have to worry about that.
Good fight.
So yeah, kind of one thing we didn't mention is there's many soft weaknesses in this game. So you have a hard weakness, which can do like 4 or 8 damage. Then you have a soft weakness, which does 2 damage. And regardless of what route you take in Mega Man 3, you're always going to have to do, I believe it's 2. It's at least 1. I think it's at least also 2 of the Robot Masters. You will not have their hard weakness, so you'll have to use like kind of a soft weakness.
Yeah, for hard weaknesses, there are... For hard weaknesses, I guess there's magnet missiles. Thank you, pun part of my brain. For hard weaknesses, there are 2 loops in this game. There's 5 and 3. For magnet, hard, top, shadow, spark, and then you have snake, Gemini, and needle. So at some point you have to jump between those 2 loops, at which point you won't have that weakness.
Yep. But still, soft weaknesses are just as useful, as you can kind of see when Darko was facing Gemini with Shadow, which is a soft weakness. Still, you can kill him quite fast, so it's just kind of a matter of managing which robots you're going to use their soft weakness rather than their hard weakness.
And as long as we're at it, for 2 of the routes, for Top and Magnet, they actually have almost a soft weakness of the Buster itself.
Yes.
So it's an easy place to jump in. As to whoever thought Gemini first was a good route, and it really was for a time, when you watch the Buster Gemini fight, it's insane. But it works.
It's one of the hardest Buster-only fights you're going to see. It's extremely brutal.
I think there's a plug for the Buster-only tournament somewhere in here.
There you go.
No Gemini lasers, no Nadua Gemini lasers yet in this match.
Quite unfortunate, really.
Colonel Fatso surviving the Shadow Man fight.
So yeah, you can easily run out of top spin in that fight. If you are turned the wrong way against Shadow Man while you're using top spin and while you're invulnerable, you just end up going through all of your ammo. So kind of have to be careful of how you kill Shadow there. As you can see, Fatso is quite close to running out of ammo, but no problem.
So Darko has reached the other side of this 6-robot loop that Top and Magnet Man routes use. Colonel Fatso into the hard stage of Gemini Man. Now it's just stuck in my head. I need to stop focusing on the fact that there's a hard man in this game. Darko actually taking another hit in that same room that Colonel Fatso did. That's a really laggy room to get hit in. Nothing else really wrong with it, but...
It's one of those things where it's like, when you get hit in a really laggy room, it makes you so bad because you can just see how slow everything is after taking that hit.
And that room is really, really laggy.
Yep. 2 for 2 on the zip for Fatso.
Darko, again, using Rush Jet to get past the blocks. We're just kind of sort of back in this mode again.
So yeah, Darko going by pretty smoothly, still has that lead as a result of Fatso's death.
Let's see if Fatso can avoid taking a second death here.
Oof. He was trying to go for a little faster strat there. Oh no!
Oh!
Oh, really unfortunate. Cap, what time is it right now?
It is time again to make a call to 1-800-ARMORINE.
So yeah, this is the backup right here. The Rush Marine strat.
All of your water traversal needs. It
That's
is
right.
a little tricky because you see it's running out of energy really fast near the end. You do have to jump out of the water at some point. Only use Rush Marine as recommended by your doctor or physician. It actually is pretty useful there. It's got some other uses. I think it's slightly less laggy even than Rush Jet for water, but just because it takes so long to menu to it, that's really the only place you see it.
Yes.
And every time you menu to a Rush item in Mega Man 3, you know, Rush kind of smiles on the left side of the screen. You see a little animation for the transformation, and that takes time.
Certainly. Alright, so at this point, Darko has a pretty sizable lead. Definitely approaching north of 30 seconds here. So it's kind of like similar to how it was in the first race. You know, this is kind of Darko's race to lose at this point.
Yep. And just like last race, there are still plenty of things up ahead. But this race, it looks more like Darko is a man with a mission. And Colonel Fatso is just going to be trying to keep it close.
Absolutely. No troubles for Darko there.
I guess I'll pay attention here and try and see when Darko beams out of his 6th robot. Call it right at 12:32 even.
Sounds about right.
Colonel Fatso making his way into Needleman. Darko going to get the rather large head start into Snake Man stage. And there's Nadua.
Oh, he shows up.
I mean, the good thing for Colonel Fatso at this point is if you're going to have a race where things go wrong, you want all of the things to go wrong. Is Darko going to go for the zip?
Oh, he's going for it! Oh my goodness. So, the reason why you rarely see somebody go for that is it's kind of random as to how it happens. Like, nobody's figured out like how to make that consistent. So the TAS will use it, because, you know, they're the TAS, they can do whatever they want. But in RTA, you'll rarely see that, so that's a for the fans moment right there.
Darko must know he has the lead. Going by their beam outs, it is a 50-second lead for Darko. That zip probably gave him 51.
Yeah, I mean, he did that zip so fast that definitely saved him time.
He's going to go for it again.
Oh,
And he gets it!
Oh, yeah, both of those zips were super fast. Like, it could take you quite a long time to get that zip down. He's just styling on Fatso right now.
Was he at the, where's the checkpoint in this stage? Is there more than one, or is it only the one after that second snake?
It's only that one after the second snake. And of course, the boss.
So if he got, like, crushed there, Fatso would actually have been winning.
It would have, yeah, it would have been really close.
Yeah. The first one I could see. The second one, you're a madman, Darko. I like the cut of his jib.
Fatso not quite as reckless as Darko is, just taking it the safe way.
Not quite as reckless, or not as willing to come back?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's not as reckless.
There are ways to come back. That might not be the way.
That is not one of them.
pretty good pace for Darko right now. I would expect him to have around the same kill time as Fatso did in the first match.
Fatso's going for these jumps. Oh
wow! These guys are just going crazy. So that is a faster strat, but as you can see, to make those jumps over and under the clouds there is extremely precise. You rarely see it. You'll see like the world record holder go for it that fast that CC is in the chat right now. He'll go for it from time to time in his runs, but even he doesn't do it like all the time, so really hard trick to pull off. This is crazy, man.
This is a good race, and honestly, given that they're going to the swag strats like that, you just have to hope at this point that Darko doesn't lose the race because of one of them.
Sure. I don't know. Maybe he's just gonna go for the Doc Spark despawn later on.
I know that's the big one, because that's probably the costliest death you can take. I know we were talking about it in as being something from Doc Needle earlier, but that's mostly because you don't expect somebody at this skill level to die in that shaft at all, unless they're going for something silly like that. Darko again does actually take a one-tile slide needlessly in that last room.
Not a terrible slide to go for. I used to do it when I was doing attempts. Certainly does have that element of risk though. 1644 for Darko. A little bit slower than Fatso's pace to the last one, but he's still ahead, so... On to the Doc Robots. See how Darko fares in the first screen of Doc Gemini. Again, I feel like it's one of the hardest screens in this entire game.
Yeah, that one especially has like one enemy particularly that just haunts me. It's low, it likes to duck underneath the magnets, and it can knock you right into a pit very easily.
Pretty much. 1733 for Fatso.
Those times are both kill times.
Yes. So we're looking at about a 50-second difference between the two.
Yep. No change since after 6. Darko is through that first screen now. Clear sailing to Doc Flash.
So Darko's kind of at that point where there are definitely some deaths he can end up taking. Still have that lead, so it's kind of nice to have that comfortable cushion.
Colonel Fatso actually does get a 1-up there. I'm not sure if he had gotten any, but he does have 2 deaths on his scorecard here, so...
Yeah. Game overs are really rough in the Doc stages, because these are among the longest stages in the entire run, except for Doc Spark. I mean, Fatso may be a little bit behind here, but game over, and, well, this race is pretty much over.
Okay, so Darko is already even through the spike slide section. Colonel Fatso does take out some of the little... What are those, tellies?
I don't know. They drop things. I'm like one of the worst persons when it comes to knowing the names of Mega Man enemies.
They're the guys with the stuff, and they drop things.
Exactly.
Down goes Doc Bubble.
Oof, a little bit crazy there for Fatso, not killing the whale there or whatever it is. Still able to get by no problem.
It's the missile fish. I don't know.
All right, that sounds good. I like that name actually. It's like Darko was able to get the despawn, no problem.
And he is into the dark room. That section over those fall-away platforms really are kind of that's the clench-worthy section of Doc's Shadow.
Mm-hmm. As well as the second to last room in the piracy room. You have to be careful in that piracy room because of the drops. You know, just one drop and kind of throw you off your rhythm, and throwing yourself off your rhythm in that section can be pretty fatal.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's stopping your jump because it's a drop, or stopping you from jumping in the first place, or knocking you out of a jump because you let go of A. The long jumps are large drops are almost better because you have time to actually notice it and then recover. Speaking of large drops, Darko did get one in there. Not that he needs it. I guess he did need it.
It's better than. I like the sync going into their respective Robot Masters.
Swag spin entry for Darko, though. Colonel Fatso will be hard-pressed to match that.
Alright, Darko was able to get the double hit, taking care of Doc Keat, no problem. See if Fatso's gonna get some drops.
Got one.
That's one. Well, a little bit late.
He got the drop.
I'm sorry, I didn't specify.
Colonel Fatso not going with the swag entry into Doc Heath. Clue in 0 minutes. Oh.
I like it, you know, Fatso, he realizes he's behind, but, you know, he's still kind of, he's playing loose, just trying to play as well as he can, kind of prepare himself for the next match, unless, you know, something crazy happens to Darko at this point.
Play as well as he can.
I don't know, what's your mentality, Cab? You're in a race, and, you know, things just haven't gone your way, like, what do you want to see from yourself at that point?
I mean, you do have to find some way to keep going. You don't want to let up, like we're saying here, but you want to keep going. But it's really hard to kind of fight that hopelessness sometimes. I know I just have too much of a competitive mindset sometimes. It makes it even harder for me.
Right.
But,
yeah, that's always been my biggest issue, is like when I'm in a race, or, you know, I'm doing a run or whatever, and I'm just so far behind, you know, made a few deaths or whatever, I just get so demoralized at that point that I just can't really finish the run.
You kind of have to take, especially because this is a best 2 out of 3, right? It's a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we have... I know this is video games and people say sports ball, but we've got sports fans out there.
That's right.
And you see these long series of games, and it doesn't matter if, regardless of whether you like them or not, if you're the Penguins and you get blown out 5 or 6-1 in Game 3, you just have to remember that's great. You're only down 1 game now. Just come back in Game 4 and win it.
Sure. It certainly helps that, like, no matter if you lose by 5 seconds or 5 minutes, it's just 1 game.
Yeah. And so you just have to go forward with, do what you can, play your game. If there's like something you're not sure if you should go for it. You know, you use it kind of almost as a practice run at this point.
Absolutely. And
if you're keeping it close and something really bad does happen on the other side, hey, you're there.
Mm-hmm. All right, moment of truth for Darko. Is he gonna go for the despawn and spark? I'm really curious.
I mean, if we get paid by the match, I want him to go for it. Actually, I don't want him to go for it then. Other way around. It's such a risky thing. It loses so much time. It would be really amazing to see, but if you're Darko, you want to just say, I'm winning by roughly 50 seconds. Let's just take this home. he can miss so many one-cycle tricks and still win by like 10 seconds, almost guaranteed.
Yep. So for a reference, if he does go for this trick and he dies, he's going to actually be behind Fatso. Like, that's how significant of a death that is.
He always swings so close to those spikes, I'm not sure if he's going for it or not.
Looked like he did play it safe, though.
Yeah, he's certainly still alive. We didn't really talk about despawning the first 2 electrodes in this room in the last race, but really it's just let's reduce even more lag.
Mm-hmm.
Not only reducing lag, but those enemies are actually hard to get past, so it's just good for your health.
And it's pretty simple to despawn, it's just a matter of standing on the right position, so it comes on screen, then it goes off forever.
Oh no. I'm reading chat here.
Oh no, me too.
Oh no, I think he's gonna go for it. We love you, Colonel Fatso.
A bold effort by Colonel Fatso.
Right back to the beginning of the stage. I think he should have gone for a sponsorship for that attempt. What do you think?
Oh man, I give him props. I give him props.
I guess IBN was not in the business of sponsoring Spike music despawns.
Nope. So that trick will probably save you a couple seconds, which is certainly a significant amount of time, but the minute that you lose for not getting it is certainly not nice.
He gets to fight Doc Metal again. It's everyone's favorite weapon anyway. So.
That's right. Actually, doesn't have enough fang to it. I don't even know what his other weakness is. Oh, it's Hard Knuckle. Okay.
Hard Knuckle?
I did not know that.
I'm honestly a little surprised and disappointed that it's not Shadow Blade.
Ah.
You don't think he's gonna go for it again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he wants to at least try to finish this out.
I think if you're Colonel Fatso, I mean, it's everything we've been saying. I think he basically wants to get through Wily 3 at least. And at that point, he can call it a practice run, because as many things that can go wrong in some of the last few stages, it's not exactly what you're worried about.
Something to note is Fatso's health is very low going to Quick, so he cannot afford to get hit at all, otherwise...
Is he out?
He could use an E-Tank.
He does have an extra life.
Doesn't care.
Oh my god.
There's no way. There's no way. He's gonna die.
Yeah. He's just going for that fight at this point. Like, he knows the score. I was mostly looking to see what his life count was. This is what we were kind of saying last time, you know. If you have the extra lives, that's a place where you can go in and take the death. If you're new to the game even, you might even want to consider just going right into that fight and immediately taking the death if you want to save your E-Tanks for something later.
The good thing is that if you do have an E-Tank for that fight, you might as well use it, because if this is, especially if this is your last Doc Robot stage, you go into Wily 1, there's an E-Tank 5 seconds into the stage, so...
Those 2 top dropping enemies are pretty brutal. One more appearance by the IBN machine until the next race.
IBN machine will, you know, never relinquish its spot in the in this match over here. All right, let's see. Can Darko get the one jump kill? That's what I want to see right now.
Darko's going for some swag dodges here, because he could just be standing in the right corner and doing nothing.
Alright, not quite, but still, pretty impressive kill.
Still pretty easy. I think the meter went down a little faster in the first race.
Yes.
Maybe Colonel Fatso.
Oh, no!
He just cut that jump short somehow, some way.
That's definitely something that I tend to do there. It's just very easy to kind of shortchange the jump in the water section. It's not really many places where you're kind of jumping through water, so it's definitely a little bit of a different physics than just jumping out of it. So very easy to kind of make that mistake.
I can see Colonel Fatso getting to the end of Wily 3 and then just calling it there. Although I don't know if it's worth it for him to go through and finish the race the whole way and make Darko sit there.
I definitely think it's worth it to get some refights practice in, because refights is definitely one of the hardest sections of the game, if not maybe the hardest. So it's definitely worth it, I think, to get some practice with that. Refights, of course, being Wily 4.
Where Darko is right now.
Kind of one thing we didn't mention is you can use 2 different weapons against the Kamagora Maker in the Topspin or the Shadow Blade. Topspin is the easier one to kind of hit the turtles, but Shadow Blade requires less menu movement, so it saves a tiny bit of time if you can use Shadow Blade properly against the turtles.
Mm-hmm. Darko is on the refights. Is that the 0 hit point snake making an appearance?
It's like a solid pace for Darko. I'm not quite sure if he's going to get a 34 at this point, but should be another low 35 for him, barring any deaths.
He is actually on really good pace. I don't think he's on 34. Maybe.
I think it's very low 35.
Yeah. Because I feel like he's further... He has a higher time right now than Colonel Fatso did in the last race at the same point. Where, like I said, we should talk about this time, Gemini laser is about to be used on Gemini Man.
Yes. So one of the interesting things is every single Robot Master is weak to its own weakness. Or to its own weapon, rather.
So using the laser against both Gemini Man and Needle Man saves a menu. Easy fight for Colonel Fatso.
Yeah, basically this entire order that they take in terms of fighting the robots is purely because of less time spent in the menus. Of course, as you noticed throughout... Oh, Darko has 1 health. What is he doing?
Oh, he's going to keep going. I thought that was his last one.
What is he doing?
I mean, he's not going to lose the race on this. Oh, come on! Really?
I mean, you can't really kill Spark without taking... I mean, you could, but it's really slow.
Jump over that shot, or you could have gotten to large health in the last fight.
Yeah, it is...
I thought he was going for it.
The E-Tank does fill your health quite fast, so it's not really losing too much time if you use an E-Tank rather than an energy drop. And, you know, depending on how far you have to travel to get that energy drop, it just may make more sense to use the E-Tank.
He was right next to it, and like you were saying, the entire route is based around menuing. And to go from Shadow to Colonel Fatso using Topspin directly on the clone there, he's mad at that clone.
One thing to note is Darko and Fatso did it as well. They're killing Wily 5 without generating lag. So, like we did say, you do, of course, want to reduce lag whenever possible. However, in order to get this quick kill, it's extremely hard to do it without lag. So many people opt to just throw additional snakes on the screen. So it gives them more time in order to kill the boss. But Fatso and Darko have been doing it without that lag, which is pretty nuts because you have an extremely tight window in order to do it.
So Darko, can he get the 34?
Ooh, it's gonna be close.
Should be really close now.
Should be able to. There you go, GG,
nice.
34, 50.
I'm not gonna listen to RaceBot's 35 even. What does it know?
I have to say though, it's been consistent the whole time. Like race spot has always been like 2 seconds above everyone's split.
I
don't know why.
It's consistent across all races, I think.
This is race spot's ploy to just sabotage everyone's time.
Looks like Colonel Fatso is going to keep going.
Yeah, definitely a good idea, I feel like, to practice the refights. You know, take it seriously, because it's very easy to make mistakes in this and lose a ton of time.
I know everybody says a lot, and this is my own failing as a speedrunner, that the refights are deceptively, there's a deceptively large amount of time to save in all the refight stages, and I always feel like the movement in other parts of the game is more important.
Mm-hmm.
Colonel Fatso taking one more hit from Magnet Man for good measure.
Does have enough health, unlike Darko.
Can't hit Sparkman today.
It's pretty difficult. Looks like he's gonna finish this out. Might as well at this point. It's another minute.
Yeah. Although I could also see him... he's got to finish it now. Like the pin bot here is the next place to want to practice it.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you might as well bop Wily. It's like, well, as long as I'm in the final stage.
Well, the kills that he does, which are faster by frames, but more difficult to pull off like that, it's definitely something you want to practice. And may I say, it just does boggle my mind that these guys can actually do that strat, and they have not failed it so far.
So what you're saying is that we're going to see them both fail it in Race 3?
Maybe.
Now, it has to be said at this point, Colonel Fatso, best 2 out of 3 Mega Man X1 tournament, went to a 4th race because of a tie. Is it going to happen again?
Ooh.
That joke's starting to get old, but what is Darko going for? I mean, I can guess what he's going for, but I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
I have actually seen it done before, but I don't think it's worth it to like try to save time with it. But this is
show it off between races here.
Yeah, he is in fact trying to go for a zip.
There we go. Easy.
All right. All right, winner take all, the last match to decide everything. Colonel Fatso versus Darko. I don't know, Kev. You took Darko, I took Fatso. It's coming down to the wire. You still feel good about your choice?
I mean, I guess I do. I don't have a very strong opinion on this one.
Yeah, this is building up to be the race that I expected at least. Expected it to be fairly close between these two. It's tough.
Colonel Fatso really brought it the first race. This is really all going to come down to, can he bring back the Race 1 magic here?
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, by the same token, Darko, in that last race, that was his race of not really having any screw-ups at all.
Yep.
The biggest mistake he had, basically, was using that E-Tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So... I mean, you
Darko...
saw it.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go, because my final statement here is obvious. Whoever doesn't make the mistake wins.
Sure. I mean, Fatso has to know that, like, Darko, this entire tournament, and pretty much, like, his entire racing career in Mega Man 3, he's been super consistent. Like, this guy just pulls off 34s, like, all the time. So, I feel like the pressure is definitely on Fatso, because he knows he can't afford any, deaths or screw-ups, major mishaps, in order to win this. So, do you think we're going to see the race where neither one makes a mistake?
Or are we going to see the race where they both make 10 mistakes?
I feel like the former. I think the former is going to happen. I think that's higher chance than the latter. I feel like both of these guys are playing really well.
They have.
So we are underway, of course. Just to reiterate, these guys do use a different route. So it will not be until the 7th Robot Master that we see them synced up. You can still kind of tell between the two who's ahead, who's not. Of course, aside from deaths, you know, there's just little mistakes here or there you can kind of see, but...
Colonel Fatso needs to calm down a little bit here.
Yeah.
Going for a few super fast frame-saving tricks early, and you can see a little bit of frustration just in the way Mega Man's jumping around.
Sure.
But he's got nothing major has happened yet, so he's got to just keep going.
Well, I feel like, for me, like, when I'm racing in games, I don't want to adopt a mentality of, like, oh, I should probably take this safe, or I should probably do this differently. Because I feel like if you take that mentality, you're just, like, asking, you know, to screw up. And try, maybe you're doing something that you're not used to doing, or maybe you're just putting bad thoughts into your head. So, I think, if anything, it's definitely wise to kind of try to do those little frame savers that you're used to doing. It's better to be more comfortable, even if it's a riskier strat, than, you know, kind of taking things safe if they're things you're not used to doing.
Colonel Fatso actually right here is doing stuff he's probably not used to doing and taking this magnet fight a little safe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's at that point where you cannot afford to take another hit. So, it was a slow fight for him.
We saw two magnet draw attacks there.
Yeah, anytime you see Magnet draw on screen, you're losing a few seconds, so... he is definitely behind right now, but obviously this is pretty early.
This is very early, and honestly, Colonel Fatso's, even if it wasn't quite the perfect no-mistake run it was, his PB run from earlier was about 35 seconds better than Darko's no-mistake run. So he can afford to lose that time if this is going to be the no-mistake versus no-mistake.
Sure. I mean, Darko did have that one death in the first race, but even so, like...
Yeah.
I think Fatso's at the level, I mean, look, his PB is now just a couple seconds behind Darko. They're both at about the same level in terms of...
Oh, they are. Easily.
So it really comes down to who's going to make less mistakes.
Well, I mean, even then, though, like, I'm trying to get at... I wonder if Darko is taking a few more things safer than Colonel Fatso, be it this parachute screen or other parts of the race.
I mean, this is the guy that just went for 2 snake zips, so...
And got a 34.58.
Yes. So I definitely don't think Darko...
Yeah.
I think in general with Darko's movement is... He definitely adopts strats that are not, like, I wouldn't say, like, you know... less risky or anything, but probably strats he feels more comfortable with. And that may lose him small bits of time here and there over, like, you know, say, like, the world record holder or something like that. But I don't think Darko is the kind of person that just is, like, a conservative player, so to speak.
Oh, we'll see how this race develops, I guess.
I think one thing we forgot to mention with the top first rat, and I think it's kind of an advantage to it, is it basically does 3 of the hardest 8 robot stages, like, consecutively. So I feel like if you get those stages out of the way, it's just, and you do it without, you know, any major mistakes, it definitely gives you a lot more confidence, especially finishing out the 8 robots and maybe heading into the Dark robots themselves. So that's kind of what I feel like is one of the advantages of the top first rat.
Yeah, you get to Gemini faster, you get through Shadow Man pretty early. It's definitely an advantage there. And you get Rush Jet. The Magnet fight is that much easier. I'm watching Darko go through that first screen of Gemini. He did take, I think, a couple more hits. The last few races, like, they've had no problem on these screens. Darko finally does get a Gemini zip in.
There we go. Must have just Just had an issue with the setup, I guess, in the previous 2 games.
He was the way he got hit the same way by tadpoles in both races made me wonder if he knew something we didn't.
Can I just make a special anti-shout out to the Elena bot?
Yo, Elena bot, thinking that that's better than this race. Darko in the 1-tile slide room. How much bigger exactly is Mega Man's ability to stay on a platform while he's in that slide animation? Because I know you can slide off a platform, and there were some places there. I think Mega Man's right arm handled the jump.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see like how much you can get away with. Like, it's really interesting kind of going through the Mega Mans themselves. Like Mega Man 5, you don't have that much room, not like nearly close to that much room. So it's kind of interesting to see like how far off you can slide a platform.
Colonel Fatso is trying to save that 1 second on the tops, and does it.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it all 3 games, so like I said, go with something you're comfortable with doing, even if it does carry that element of risk.
And kind of like the first race, looks like they're even now, but Darko did get through the longer Robot Master in Gemini Man. Of course, we'll find out what the truth is at Snake.
Yep. Still doing this smashing route with the spike guys, or whatever they are.
And this first, really the second screen of Needle, well, you have to do it this way because he doesn't have Magnet. It's actually not that bad at all. And if you can get by, like you were saying, without switching to Gemini, why not?
Yeah.
Those guys take, what, like 7 hits or something crazy?
6 hits, I believe? Yeah, there's pretty much almost no invulnerability period between shots in Mega Man 3 versus regular enemies. So, yeah, mashing, if you're a very good masher, it can definitely give you that little advantage in this game.
Colonel Fatso got a couple of large drops in the dark room, took a couple of hits as well. Just little bits of time here and there. I mean, Darko's taking these same hits.
Yep.
We'll just see who takes more and who loses the extra second when all is said and done.
Pretty nice shadow kill for Fatso over there. He's getting a little, like, double hit in the middle of it.
Saving them frames.
That's right. So I'd say at this point, Darko still has, I think, that small lead over Fatso, but nothing like how it was the previous 2 games.
Yeah, this lead right now, I think, is even in danger from Kamegoro alone.
Absolutely. I would have to imagine it's less than 10 seconds. God, his smashing is just so good, seeing him kill Breakman that fast.
Yeah, if he gets through all those fights, I mean, every little thing like that is something that's giving him a slight advantage. You get that countered just a little bit, if even. It's all just going to come down to who makes less little bumps when they're moving. Sure.
I mean, mashing definitely is a very nice thing to have when you're playing Mega Man 3, but I think something that gets often overlooked a lot is movement. And movement has nothing to do with your mashing. It's just how good can you slide, how good are you at lag reduction strats, because there are so many tiny things you can do in this game to reduce lag that you just don't even notice, like, unless you're just at that level.
Mashing is just one of those things. Either you can do it, you can get better at it, but some people, Darko, Elonesia, is like, if you can mash, you just have to take advantage of it.
Sure.
Good magnet fight from Darko, and all eyes are on Colonel Fatso. Oh my god!
Oh god!
Why?
That
Game,
was
please don't do this to us.
that was rough. I think part of that with why that energy jump was so scary was actually the tile before. He jumped too far to the right, so yeah, he couldn't do a slide off of it, so he had to jump to the next tile instead, and that was kind of what made that really scary.
In this Gemini fight now, even with that large health drop.
Oh, oh goodness.
Oh my.
If it wasn't obvious, he would have died if he got hit by Gemini there.
Take a deep breath, everybody. We're still going.
Nice. Needle does take less time than Hardman by a few seconds, so even though Darko's in here first, Fatso's going to gain just a slight bit of time there, but Darko's still definitely ahead.
Yeah, I have to say Darko's probably in that 5-10 second range with a lead. I don't think he's going to go for those slides this time, although as much as we say 5-10 seconds... I don't know. I'm feeling like Colonel Fatso is a little jittery on the controls here. I saw it in Magnet, just the way he it took a little extra time there to switch to the Gemini laser. The way that Gemini fight ended, it's starting to add up. Although Darko just got to meet the bees too. That's what's really nice about this. Like, there's little things that are indicative of a little bit of jitters, but they're such minor things, they're not really affecting the run overall.
Yes.
Darko is going to get into this door first.
.1207 kill.
And he's pretty centered.
Looks like it's going to be a little bit over 10 seconds for Darko. 12:20, high 12:19, so about 12-13 seconds difference.
It's not much.
Not at all.
You can't do anything big, and you still have the Kamegoro RNG in the future.
Absolutely.
You have that, you have Airman...
There's
a couple of other patterns.
There are just so many little points that you can lose a second or two here and there. Like, 12 or 13 seconds is nothing in this game.
FastSat CC showing up just to say that's pretty much all Magnet Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. So Darko's playing it safe now. It's not going for the zip anymore.
Not this time.
One thing we did forget to mention is when you have Rush, whether it's Coil, Jet, or Marine, if you're actually in the middle of a slide and you press start, you can actually despawn him. And as you can imagine, with anything else, if there's an extra sprite on screen, there's lag. So you will see them do that, just like in Snake Stage. There's a couple of points during the game in which you want to despawn Coil or Jet in order to save those frames.
Rush Jet being on the screen is actually pretty laggy most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the movement it gives you is also really useful in a lot of places. So really, it's this one long screen and that short screen is the only thing between Colonel Fatso and Darko.
Is he going to go for the the sick jumps again? I would imagine not, but...
I would hope he doesn't.
Alright, taking it safe this time. Nothing wrong with that.
Not going for that. The last race was the swag race. Snake Man goes down at 31. They can high-five for a moment, or Colonel Fatso gets to see Darko beam out. Yeah, that's a solid 11.5 or 12 second lead.
Yep, definitely still... Fatso did gain time on Snake, so it's kind of nice.
Not too much. So that's definitely in the realm of, okay, things go back and forth in a stage. Maybe we missed which half second we were measuring. We'll see if there's a trend that starts developing.
Spark has a tiny bit of RNG, the boss at least. You know, where his pattern is can kind of add up to a second or two at most.
It's a matter of really dealing with it from there, making sure you land those hits while still dodging things. A little bit of the centering, but I mean, I feel like you're the more knowledgeable of some of the minutia than I am at a lot of times. Like, I always feel like if you can get a kill, that's much more valuable than a few frames of getting closer to the middle of the screen.
I mean, you're gonna get a kill either way, so anything you can do in order to get yourself closer to the center in this fight is optimal. Like, it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying stand against the wall.
Right. I guess what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter, like, in terms of getting him killed, it doesn't matter where he goes, like, because you can hit him, like, all the time regardless, but where he goes determines where you're going to end up killing him. So where Mega Man stands is basically the RNG factor.
Darko's through this last screen. Colonel Fatso on the last screen.
23 at boss door for Darko.
First one? Second.
And 32. Alright, so 9 seconds. 34 kill. Very nice time.
Colonel Fatso misses the first shot.
Oh,
yeah, it's gonna set him back a little bit. Because if he had gotten that first shot, he wouldn't have had that little knockback at the end.
It's alright, 43 for Fatso, still 9 seconds. Yeah, so as Fast is pointing out, and a few people are in chat, Fatso did have the better pattern of the two, so that's kind of why he didn't really lose any time.
Another one up for Darko, not that that's been a factor in this race at all. First screen of Gemini, you're getting to see it in sync. Not in sync, I guess, but close enough.
Close enough.
Colonel Fatso pausing at the very end of that jump.
That's crazy, man. So insane to see the top runners do the screen.
No, Crazy was going for the snake zips. I don't know what that was. We'll have a poll after the race. What is the more insane maneuver? Snake zips in a tournament race? Or pausing that late in a jump?
Let's just call them all crazy and and call it a day.
We can do that.
So then for the top route for Fatso. Oh, not able to kill the droppers. If you can't kill the droppers there, I think you're losing time on that strat, so...
I don't think you're losing that much time on it.
No, not a significant time, but again, at this point, the race is so close that even those little things, they can add up.
Colonel Fatso just gets into the room long enough to see Darko leave it, misses one shot. Not a big deal. I'm primarily, I think, at this point, watching Colonel Fatso, but Darko gets a drop and jumps out of the slide anyway. But, I'm sure Darko is taking a lot of these hits as well.
Darko did get a big drop at some point. It's kind of nice. Ooh, Fatso missed that transition there.
Yeah, Darko got it on the slot while sliding on the spikes.
Health is slightly low for Fatso. Shouldn't be a problem against the Dock Bubble, but if things do go wrong, it could potentially be fatal.
I think he's still going to be just fine with that much health.
Like, it shouldn't be a problem, but if, like, something really goes wrong, it could wind up in his death.
Darko taking one extra hit there, delaying the end of the fight and thus the stage. Colonel Fatso, I feel like he got into the Bubble Man fight a little sooner than he got into the Flash fight.
Yep, 8 seconds between the two now.
So the trend is that Colonel Fatso is gaining.
Yes.
And Darko does have the longer setup there by, you know, maybe half a second, but that's what we're measuring this trend in.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like both of these... I feel like the pressure's on Darko at this point. Like, he has that lead, and that's great, but, you know, if he's watching the stream, I think he can kind of tell that Fatso's making those little, you know, second gains, and I don't know. Like, I feel like for me as a runner, like if I know that the person in second place is kind of making those tiny improvements over my time, that concerns me because what can I do? Like, what can I do to make sure that he doesn't come back?
I mean, the pressure's on both of them right now, and like it's going back to Magnet Man stage. I'm noticing when Colonel Fatso's on the ladder and he's just hanging there that extra half a second. There's like little things. They're both feeling it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which is more a testament to how good they both are at this game. That they are that they're both feeling it, and they're not having any huge screw ups either. Darko using needles still out of the Doc Wood fight to take out the first Joe, so I think that negates the need to get magnet drops.
That's correct.
I don't think I've actually seen needle get used on that enemy before.
I didn't actually know you could use needle there, but oh, Fatso did have enough drops there to take care of the monsters there.
The other strat for that stretch, if you want to be a little slower, is to take out Gemini lasers. But neither one of these runners wanting to do that. Is Darko going to get this double hit?
Wasn't able to. Fatso's opportunity to gain a little time here.
There it is.
There we go. About 6-7 seconds now.
Colonel Fatso blew up Doc Heat the same time Darko beamed out. Darko again, opting not to switch to Gemini Laser in this first screen, gets off it just as Colonel Fatso arrives.
I wouldn't say there's a ton of opportunity to gain time here for Fatso. There's just, I don't feel like there's a lot going on, though there are the despawns in the rush jet
It's the
section.
lag. That's really going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets themselves, if you can take them out before they get out of the ground, like, there's not going to be, honestly, given that it's only about 8 seconds, that could be a huge swing if you lose 2 seconds on a Met by having to jump up and get it.
Sure.
If it gets completely out of the ground and you have to go to Shadow, I mean, forget it. And you do have Airman. What patterns are they going to get?
Sure. I know Darko got a 3 cycle last time, I think in the second race, but nope, able to take care of him no problem in 2 cycles. 2 cycles is the optimal amount of cycles. Fatso wasn't able to, though, and it's going to cost him a little time.
Losing a little time. Darko getting hit by Perseus.
Fortunately, he was able to get a big drop before the Airman, so that definitely helps him here. He's at a very comfortable health. He can afford to get hit twice by the Mets. Oh, not anymore.
They actually have... I think Darko has maybe 2 more hit points than the Colonel right now.
Yes. Doesn't really matter, though, because the Met does, I think, like, if you get hit by him, it's like 7 or 8 or something like that, so...
I mean, these guys should be able to get through the rest of the stage, really, without getting hit. Which means
they should be.
Won't get clobbered.
You would expect them to, but here, like, against the Met, I mean, it's a very tight window in order to kill him, and you have to be at a very, like, specific position in order to kill him, so...
As a baseball fan, I never get to say this. Don't underestimate the Mets.
Darko not getting the health. Not too big of a deal, he's got plenty of health, however, it's one of those things where, like... if things go wrong, he should be fine, but if things do go wrong, you know, you could potentially die here.
Colonel Fatso got hit by the porcupine and did have to get the health. Darko having to catch up to get that 4th hit. Colonel Fatso, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Got a much better pattern, Fatso did.
He got a much better pattern, but I feel like Darko had a slightly better second half of the stage, so it doesn't negate itself. Wow, I'm going to look for the beam-ins here.
I think it's still about 6 seconds.
Right about 33 even. Oh my god. Just before 39. So yeah, about 6 seconds. And again, Shadow Blade. The League of Shadow here against the Gemini Laser. We haven't seen as much Shadow Blade in the second half of the tournament. It's good to see it's still getting some love.
So you kind of see the disadvantage to Shadow here against these little slinkies. I don't know, whatever they're called. It only takes 2 hits to kill him with Gemini, but it takes like a good 5 or 6 hits with Shadow.
He did take out that missile with the swag boomerang shot, though.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, when the first Doc Robot, Doc Flash, Colonel Fatso walked in the room as Darko walked out. Darko is now walking out, and Colonel Fatso is landing the last hit at about the same time, and he's further to the right in the room.
This is... Oh boy.
Surprisingly, neither one goes for the music despawn.
It's easy, right?
I thought it was free.
Yeah.
That's what Fast at CC told me. Colonel Fatso missing one of the little jumps there.
Alright, both of them to Doc Quake, no problem. Quick could definitely be the difference maker here. There's a fair amount of RNG in where he jumps.
Colonel Fatso hit the first door before Darko hit the second door.
Oh, Darko's going for the Gemini! Wow, fantastic fight by Darko. He's definitely gaining some time over Fatso here.
Oh, easily.
It's about, I think, 7 or 8 seconds.
I didn't. I'm gonna have to see where they beam in here. I think it's gonna probably
7.
hit 10. Is it 7?
Get 7.
That Breakman fight.
I think Darko did gain a little bit of time.
I feel like it was closer to 8 and purely on the mashing.
Yeah. And once again, final shoutouts of this match to IBN Computing.
That mashing is brought to you by IBN. It's bacon now. I had to say it at some point.
Alright, about 8 seconds or so coming into the Wily stages, and unlike the previous matches where it really was just somebody's match to lose, right here, somebody could easily come from behind and win. I mean, the refights, you can easily have 8 seconds separated between the two. There's a lot of time to be gained in the refights, potentially. And of course, if somebody just happens to miss Yellow Devil, that's 18 seconds right there.
Will the Easy Devil be the Kingmaker?
I really think both are going to get Yellow Devil, so I do think it's going to come down to refights. Who has the better refights? And of course, Kamagora Maker. Can't forget him.
That's the RNG factor. I kind of want to see a pair of 2-cycle Yellow Devils. I just want to see them both miss it.
I just can't see Darko missing it. I really can't. Unless he just jumps too early. That's it. That's the only way. Even if he jumps too early, he can still potentially get it.
Ransom Darko is through.
Alright, 14 door for Darko. So we're going to factor that into the RNG factor.
Colonel Fatso, again, had just a little bit trying to jump over that block. 23 door.
2 rights and a left for Darko. Slow left. Fast right. And a left, a slow left.
Started going left.
So he had 3 rights, but he had 2 really slow lefts. Just like Fatso's having right now.
We'd like to thank the game for having nearly identical RNG.
It was 43 teleport for Darko.
Colonel Fatso on that last turtle.
11 seconds.
4. So after all of that time gained during the dock stages, it's all gone.
Yeah.
The stage without a checkpoint here. Darko not having any unfortunate bee stings to deal with.
You can kind of see here that they're despawning shit. Oh no, Fatso!
No!
No! Oh god.
Just A button failing him there.
Oh man.
Not able to get out of the slide jump.
Most unfortunate. About a 20-25 second death right there.
Alright, it's up to the Yellow Devil.
Easy.
Easy!
Alright, well, at this point, this is definitely Darko's match to lose. All he's got to do is just get through. No deaths, and he should be fine. Even if he misses like a quick kill on Wily 5, it's still not going to be enough time.
Well, it depends on how fast he recovers from that quick kill.
Sure. I mean, if he does die from it, then yes, that is painful. Oh no, Fatso messed up.
That's not happening. I said a pair!
Rough.
He might need to tank. He should be fine if he doesn't get hit by any of the rocks.
Yeah, he'll be okay. He can afford to take a hit from the bullet, which is fine.
He should be able to fire 3 diagonal blades and be done with this.
Uh-oh. He missed, he missed! No. It's adding an extra like 15 seconds, maybe a little bit less. It is a bit faster to get from the second to the third cycle, but still very rough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, barring some spectacular collapse by Darko, this race should be fairly over at this point.
Yeah, Darko at this level, even if something like repeated spectacular failure started to happen, like you would expect the skill to carry through, but
like he would have to have a bad refight and die in Wily 5. Like that's the only way I can see this happening. And a death in Wily 5 is pretty rare.
Well, actually, you know, let's throw it out there because there is actually one amazingly large time loss that can still happen here.
That's true.
Have we seen the last soft lock of the tournament?
Oh boy, I don't know, Cav. I don't want to go there. All right, I don't want to go there.
In the third place match, you get a soft lock. You can get it on Hard Man, but that one's exceedingly rare. More common is you kill Gemini Man basically too fast.
Yep.
Extra cycle from top. It's here to pitch in.
Oh yeah, Darko's playing this super safe now. He knows at this point he cannot soft lock.
Don't soft lock on Gemini Man. I think that's the last place you can soft lock.
Yes. So yeah, at this point you would have to have like a death here, and then like a death in Wily 5. And he is low health, but
he's again not gonna go.
This is a risk. Like he will E-tank if something goes wrong, but this is a little bit of a risk.
It's not that big a risk.
Alright, you safe.
The jump over the health.
I like it, I like it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that fast though. Like, I'm not as familiar with how to cause the soft lock on Hard Man. Fast is saying that was basically the soft lock setup. Trying to get a 1-cycle kill.
Alright, see if Darko can handle Wily 5. Easy.
Easy. Really, that is kind of the situation where if you don't get it in 1 cycle, and especially if you don't get a lot of hits on that first cycle, it's very easy to get caught in a weird place. Colonel Fatso, with shoutouts to Nadua, firing 1 extra laser there.
So looks like Darko's ready to finish. He will have a 34 here, barring some spectacular failure, which doesn't really happen. You don't really lose that much time if you miss the quick kill here.
Colonel Fatso is going to escape Wily 4, I think, in time before Darko finishes entirely.
And there it is. GG. 34-43 from Darko. Very well done.
Nice race.
Congrats to our 3rd place finisher in Darko.
Taking care of business in the 3rd place match.
the comeback from the losing the first game, taking games 2 and 3. Very well done.
Don't have all of the times here. 34:43 is definitely up there on best times in the tournament. I think Colonel Fatso's time might actually be the best time of the tournament.
Yes,
the one
I
that
believe
forced
so.
Darko to play this third match.
I do believe so. And Fatso's coming up to the finish.
And shouts to Colonel Fatso. 4th place overall in the tournament, but definitely had some of the best times throughout the tournament, and had these nice snake kills of Gamma.
Absolutely. So GG, 35-56. Right spot is 35-57. Close enough. Yeah, that was a fantastic match. I mean, it was a nail biter for most of the game 3, and great times by game 1 and game 2 by Fatso and Darko respectively. So
yeah,
it was a pleasure.
Both races just came down to who just had the one thing go wrong.
Absolutely.
And otherwise, really, every race outside of those 4 mistakes was very well played.
Yep.
So, don't go away. This was the 3rd place match, but right after this, Fast at CC, as well as Prissy, are getting ready to have the 1st place, the final match, right after this.
For all the marbles.
There are a lot of marbles.
There's nothing wrong with marbles.
What did we have in this tournament? 40 entrants?
More than that. Let me check right now.
Gotta go and like bring up the original bracket here. Take me a second. Challenge really wants to think about this before it shows me.
Hello?
Hello, Colonel Fatso.
Hello.
What's up?
How's it going? Congrats on the PB.
Well, thanks. That's actually like the one thing that I wanted to get out of today was a PB, because I'm probably not going to be playing the game for a little while after this, right? So
That's fair.
I can see that.
So, I mean, kind of talk me through it. You know, you start off game 1 right off the bat, get a PB,
Yeah.
9 seconds.
the worst possible thing I could have done.
I know.
Yeah, I was kind of alluding to it in game 2. I was like, well, you got a PB.
It's over.
But no, that was a fantastic PB. I was kind of mentioning it, you know, a little bit throughout the rounds. Like, it didn't really seem like you made many mistakes, if any. Like, talk me through the PB. Like, how do you feel about it?
It's a pretty good PB. So, it's basically what my goal was for Magnet First before switching to Top First, which I'll probably do the next time I pick up the game. And I was, I don't know, the Robos went okay. Like, I've done Robos better by a very small amount, but really it was just on pace with my best, practically. And then dock stages, I picked up a little bit of time on my PB there, and I was feeling like, okay, maybe this could become something. And then I've been having problems with Yellow Devil fight basically the entire time I've been getting ready for these late matches in the tournament. But I managed to get that, and once that happened, then like it was just this huge sigh of relief, and I was able to close the run out pretty well.
Yeah, going for the Wily 5 and the Wily 6 snake kills the fast way, I was quite impressive, especially because like when me and Cab were there, like around Wily 5, we knew you were on PB pace, so to see you kind of go for those quick kills, that was pretty insane.
Well, I mean, I don't even know how to do the fights otherwise now, right?
Oh, wow.
I've been doing that so long. It would be probably worse to try to do leg snakes, or to try to do the top spin kill on Gamma, right?
Sure. So, alright, so you have your PB, and like you said, it felt like it was like the worst thing you could do. I mean, what's your mentality going into game 2?
Well, I didn't really care. Like, I was just like, I need to play a few stages, get warmed up again or something, or like cooled down, more like get the adrenaline out of my system. And unfortunately, part of that involved sliding the wrong way right into Magnet, so...
Yeah.
I figured that's exactly what happened.
Pretty unfortunate death there, but you know, you kind of put out a good show, even though you were behind. You know.
Oh yeah, after that, I just went for everything. This is like, cause like, why not?
Yeah.
Got the Snake Man slides.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like
Oh,
that's just whatever, right? And once you're already half a minute behind, then who cares if you do, like Casio Wiggle, which I tried to do but failed.
Yeah, I saw that.
Or you know, snakes, or like
Doc Spark.
Pixel in Doc Spark.
See,
Right,
the crazy thing about the snake part was, I don't know if you were watching, but Darko went for the snake zip and got him both times.
Oh right, yeah, he did double snake
Yeah.
zips.
Yeah, so
And
Me
by the
and
time
Cab
you
at
did the
that point
second
were just
one,
like-
you were in the stage.
So at that point, me and Cab were like, you know, just crazy at that point. And then you go for the slides at the end, and we're like, oh my goodness. But yeah, that was impressive. So game 2, you know, obviously didn't go so well. You know, it just kind of went for the show. But game 3, you're kind of going to it. At that point, what are you feeling? Like, are you worried because Darko is kind of this like very consistent person, you know, when it comes to Mega Man 3, or you feel like you're a little bit better now because you kind of got that bad run out of your system?
I was a little bit like, I don't know, I was definitely feeling a lot more calm, for sure. But there were just a couple of jitters that I couldn't quite get out in Magnet Stage. And that put me behind. And once I'm behind, then I'm feeling pressure, and I have to really get everything just right. And I was a little bit frustrated with some stages where I couldn't feel like I could do that.
Sure.
But I don't know, like Docs, I gained a lot of time, and I was happy about that. Except for my quick fight was regrettable.
Right. Yeah, Darko had a insane quick fight.
Yeah, I don't think your quick fight it could have been better, but it wasn't like awful by any stretch. And Darko just had the god quick fight.
But yeah. So I think prior to Doc Quick, you guys were about 5 seconds or so apart. So you had come back pretty well. You were as far as like 13 seconds behind when we were tracking. So you came back nicely. But then the unfortunate Wily 2 death. What happened?
I think I tried to jump out of the slide early. So there's 8 frames between when you start the slide and when you're allowed to jump. And I think I hit on like frame 7. And then I just fell. So it's whatever it is. At that point, I didn't care anymore, and I just finished out the run.
Sure. Well, thank you for coming on. Fatso, Cab, did you have any more questions?
No. I mean, it was just good races. This was a great show. Sorry it had to end this way, Colonel.
It's what it is. I got the PB, that's the thing that matters.
That is what matters. You got the PB, you bopped the beast on. Welcome to, I've got it open somewhere in this browser still. Welcome to 4th place on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Fatso, for taking the time to come on. Congratulations once again. Good tournament. 4th place finish. Certainly nothing to be sad about. So thank you. And hey, I know you got X2 coming up, right?
Commentary as well.
No problem.
I did what I could.
I think you have an X2 3rd place match coming up, don't you?
Yeah.
This guy, you know, he's doing X2 and Mega Man 3 at the same time. He's a madman. So yeah, thanks again, Fatso, and best of luck in your X2 match and your future runs. So,
all right.
I guess the only question is what's next, but I think the answer is SGDQ practice.
Yeah, I've got 3 runs in, so I've got to like practice constantly for the rest of the month.
That Pugly's adventure, man. It's a tough
It's
one.
gonna be good.
I've promised a run of that at some point, so
Yeah.
go
Okay.
get it.
Anyways, I'm gonna drop out before this drags on any longer.
All right,
Do it.
take it. Fatso. All right, thanks again, Fatso, for coming on, and that is going to do it for myself and Cab. We're going to get Kyle Precise and Darkwing Duck. They're going to cover the final match between Fast and Prissy. Cab, it was a pleasure. It was great commentating with you, and looking forward to these finals.
Same Dark Man, always a pleasure to work with you. And I guess one more time for old time's sake, shoutouts to IBN.
Shoutouts to IBM Computing. All right, Kyle and Darkwing, it's all yours.
Have a good night, folks. Enjoy this match.